Hey guys, do you remember when I told you that History in the Mix has merchandise that you guys can buy? I just got sent in the sample of the History in the Mix The Reboot mask. Very excited with how these look and have turned out. But yeah, these look pretty cool, and you guys can support your favorite YouTube channel by wearing them. Who are you anymore? Okay guys, so I kind of lied. Not onto him just yet. I want to thank the Coldest Water for sponsoring this video. The coolest water bottle on the market. And you guys can also support me by using my link down in the description to purchase your Coldest Water bottle. It's awesome. It's sleek. It's clean. The colors are awesome. Charlie Chaplin would probably use it if he was alive, so that's why I think you all should buy it. I told myself before filming that I probably need to come up with a reason to make this video about the similarities and differences between Michael Jackson and Charlie Chaplin, but there's really not many. I watched this Robert Downey Jr. biopic and I really liked it, and I've always really liked Chaplin, and I've always really loved Michael, and so... But before we get into that, if you don't know who Charlie Chaplin is, don't say you're a fan of film, but I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown of who Charlie Chaplin is and was. Charlie Chaplin was born in London on April 16th, 1889 to Charles and Hannah Chaplin. His childhood was full of hungry and tired nights due to his father being absent and the declining mental health of his mother. Chaplin started performing various comedy acts at very early ages. By the age of 19, he was already signed to the prestigious Fred Karno Company, which took him straight into the heart of America. On film, Chaplin would create this character entitled the Tramp. According to Wikipedia, the Tramp is a persona that is childlike, bumbling, but is generally a good-hearted character who is most famously portrayed as a homeless man who endeavors to behave with the manners and dignity of a gentleman despite his actual social status. And with that, this man was very, very famous up until his death. But the thing is, and I was researching this video, and there's no 100% story of how Michael discovered Chaplin or how his infatuation with Chaplin started, but we do have this picture that Michael drew at the age of 9, so this would have been like 1966, 1967, and it not only displays his artistic talents from a very early age, but just his overall enjoyment of the Tramp, which I think is really cool. 2 years after Charlie Chaplin's death in 1977, Michael dressed up like him for a photo shoot on the road where Chaplin once lived. Michael bought the outfit from a shop on the same street and had his picture taken by famous British photographer Tony Prime. In 1983, 4 years after the initial photo shoot and soon after the release of Thriller, Michael would create a very similar session. I was very disappointed to learn that Michael never got to meet Chaplin in person because they were kind of born almost 100 years apart. But Michael did get to meet his widow, Una, which if you've seen this movie, the Robert Downey Jr. biopic, which I recommend, you know a lot about their love story and their kids, and it's very cool. Michael would go over to the Chaplin mansion quite a bit and hang out with the family. We've got more of that coming up in the video. And so with that, he had a very good relationship with the family and, more importantly, on a business note, the estate of Charlie Chaplin. I can't really talk about this song, both the Michael Jackson version and the Charlie Chaplin version, without getting into some controversy, so I'll go over it very, very quick. Michael, obviously, the Michael Jackson allegations, you guys know all about those, but the Charlie Chaplin allegations are something that is quite staggering in my mind, and I'm going to very much oversimplify it, but I'll try to give you all the rough draft. Basically, Chaplin was very much outspoken in Hollywood, and so when World War II was going on, you know, Chaplin was out there shooting down, you know, I can't say it, but you guys know the guy that has a very similar mustache to this man. And he was actually one of the first people to parody that man, the one with a very similar mustache, on film. And so a lot of people called him a communist, and just, it's a very big thing. Okay, so now we can talk about the song. Smile was actually used in Charlie Chaplin's last film as the Tramp, and also his last silent film, which kind of, you know, was a good book into his career, called Modern Times. That is true. Smile was an instrumental back in the day. And a lot of people say Chaplin wrote it, but a lot of people don't even call Chaplin a songwriter in the first place. That's the thing. Charlie Chaplin was a king back in the day. Nobody could tell him no. He could do whatever he wanted. He parodied Mustache Man as it was happening. That's a very, very big deal that I don't think people talk about enough. As it was happening. He was not dead yet. And so he could do whatever he wanted. And so basically, when he was writing his scores for movies, modern times specifically, he would like just play around on the piano and he would play 3 chords and he would be like, okay, write a song off of that. And that's how Smile came to be, as an instrumental. He didn't write it, as a lot of people say. And I feel like it's very misleading, because even on the History album, Charlie Chaplin gets a songwriting credit that he really doesn't deserve. It was closer to around the 50s where lyrics were added and it became a big hit. Charlie did hear the song. I couldn't see what he thought about the lyrics, but basically it was just like a tribute to modern times with the Smile scene, and it was very cool. But before we get done about talking about modern times, bringing it back to Michael, there is a very, very special scene in there where the Tramp does a dance called the Nonsense Song, where he does a very, very close thing to the moonwalk. You know, we all know how Michael came up with the moonwalk or got showed the moonwalk, whatever you want to say, but I just thought that was very cool. It's very commonly known by Michael collaborators that Smile, with the lyrics, was one of Michael's favorite ever compositions, which I think is really cool. So he covered it in 1995 on the History album, which a very cool thing that not a lot of people talk about. The new half of History starts with Scream and ends with Smile. Very cool. Everybody knows what a big Chaplin fan Michael was, so you could say it's because of Scream Smile, you could say it was because he just really loved Chaplin. I believe it's just because he really loved Chaplin. And so it was supposed to be a single, Smile, but very, very weirdly, like a few days before the release, the single was scrapped. And it wasn't even just scrapped, it was destroyed. Like, it was just like 2 days before it was supposed to go out. And basically, it's one of the most sought-after Michael Jackson items in existence. The vinyl, you can't find it anywhere. That's the one that like nobody can find. If you're lucky, maybe you can find a CD on eBay. But it has a really, really cool cover image of Michael as the Tramp from a movie called The Kid, which is another one of his most famous films of Chaplin's. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's another cool Chaplin photo shoot he did. And I really wish we had more outtakes from the sessions, even though we have quite a few. And especially this look, which is kind of supposed to be like Chaplin without the Tramp makeup on. I don't know. I'm kind of nerding out of both Michael and Chaplin, but I just think it's a really cool coincidence. And I saw that the single was canceled, and I'm like, what the hell? How do you do that? How do you cancel a single 2 days before it's supposed to go out? Obviously, Smile was already out because the History album was already out. But it's like, why? And so I researched it, and I went on some forums, and I found out that the reason Smile was trashed, or at least one of the reasons known to the public, is because Sony wanted a music video, but the thing is, they didn't want to pay for it. So, I mean, this is just forum gossip, so take it with a grain of salt, but the thing was, Michael really wanted to dance with Chaplin, was the quote that the forum used. And he wanted to be in a bunch of Chaplin films. So, you know, Modern Times, The Kid, I doubt he would do Great Dictator, but, you know, maybe Gold Rush. And he wanted to CGI or green screen himself in, much like Smooth Criminal in the This Is It film. So maybe that's where he got that idea.
What's he doing here?
But it wasn't only Sony that said no to Michael's idea, it was also the Chaplin estate. Keep in mind, they just had this movie come out like 5 years before History, or maybe probably closer to 3, and they said that it would kind of make a mockery of the Tramp character. Now, that is paraphrasing, but they just said they wanted the films to stay as their own. You know, making it a music video is kind of selling it out, I guess. But it would be really cool. It would be a really cool thing, and I was all for it. So Michael was very, very frustrated that he didn't get to see his artistic vision of dancing with Chaplin as the Tramp character, and so the whole thing was just scrapped, and it's very, very disappointing because I think that video would have been awesome. And, you know, well, you got to realize History was going very over budget and is still one of the most expensive albums of all time. Scream, the most expensive music video of all time. And Lord knows how much it would cost to CGI a man from 1997 into a 1917 or whatever movie. So, you just couldn't do it. I don't blame the Chaplin estate. I don't blame the Michael management. I don't even blame Michael. It would have been cool, but there just wasn't the budget. And I don't think anybody would have respected it at the time, if we're being honest, because, why would you want to promote a cover song as a single? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me as a musician. And I just feel like that's budget that could be saved. And maybe rightfully so. Smile was never performed live, but it was actually supposed to be. I didn't know this. It was supposedly on the set list for the HBO One Night Only special in 1995, but that was canceled due to Michael's health at the time, and we never got to see that. I almost said saw that. So, who knows? Maybe the Chaplin CGI thing would be reused, or maybe there'd be pictures of him on screen. Who knows? That's cool, but we will never know. I'd love to talk to someone about that. I would love to know what Michael had in store for that performance, because Lord knows, it would have been awesome. And so, yeah, that is the whole controversy with Smile. I'm sure there's a bunch more business reasons, but that's kind of like the fun thing. There was supposed to be a music video and there wasn't. But a lot of the family of Charlie Chaplin has commented on their time with Michael. And I'm going to read this quote to close out the video from Laura Chaplin, Charlie's granddaughter, who had a very, very touching thing to say after Michael's passing. Michael Jackson came 3 times to the mansion. He was like a child. I was about 12 years old when he came to the mansion. Subsequently, he called me almost every day to chat. He sent me incredible birthday gifts, huge cartoons. I went up on stage with him in Geneva. He was a great friend of the family. But yeah, I had a lot of fun researching Chaplin, watching this movie, which I really recommend you guys watch. It's a very fun way to learn more about Chaplin. And so thank you all for watching this video. I threw the mask over there. History in the Mix masks are available along with some more merch that I'll unveil in other videos, but you guys can just click the Teespring store and find out all about it now. I love Chaplin. I love Michael. This was so fun to do. I hope you guys learn more about Smile and specifically the Chaplin-Jackson relationship. I know it's been a long time no see, but we had Christmas and Happy New Year, so I should probably say Happy New Year. I can't believe I didn't say that at the beginning. But, yeah, we're still making videos. We're still alive. And, yeah, I'm very excited. So thank you all for watching. You guys can follow me on Twitter at History in the Mix and on Instagram, Mixing History. Remember to smile and to also make that change.